Here we are in DeBeque, Colorado on a snowy, rainy, cloudy, and occasionally sunny April 1st. It's probably about 45 outside. It's pretty pleasant, really. But there's a lot of snow forecast, and I've been through a lot of snow already. I'm already at 120 miles on my route today. But I've got to go to Montrose, Colorado. It is, 8:31. And I'd like to go to Montrose, Colorado over Grand Mesa. Grand Mesa is pretty high, pretty tall road, pretty high road, high elevation. And looking at the weather, you might think that's a really bad idea, and it might be. I could go around if I absolutely didn't mind going in through Grand Junction, but I would much prefer going this way. So anyway, that's what I've got going on today. Yeah, we're gonna need that. Well, we might. Who knows? Could happen. My car's in reasonably good shape. I'm still sort of limping along as far as power steering goes, and I need my correct alternator back, but the one I've got is working okay. It's just not, I don't have a full belt. I've got a belt that's about probably 1/8 of an inch smaller and a 3/4 belt, so probably about 80% of the belt. This cow is a pet. Yeah. It's weird, but it feels more like spring with this cloudy. Well, it's probably because it's green down here. Yeah, that's probably what it is. But it feels more like spring right now. I have a feeling it's going to look like winter pretty shortly. For those of you who watch my channel, and I appreciate that because YouTube has got my channel so incredibly. Oh, yeah, that's great. Stupid truck. I know, I didn't mean to do that. You did a good job of it. Yeah, YouTube has got me. I mean, I understand. I've been here before. I have another channel. I had it get completely squashed down to nothing. But they can definitely do it. And that's what they've done with this channel. They're not going to let up until after the election, if they ever even let up then. I think the only reason they don't just cancel my channel is because they're scared that they might make it popular, maybe on another platform, or maybe people will, they understand what they're doing is bad. I guess that's what I should say. And so they're trying to keep it sneaky. But they're doing it to a lot of people. They've done it for years. That's their way of living. That's their way of life. But they still know it's wrong. That wasn't that bad. Caught him on a relatively slow spot. The wind was in my favor. When I'm driving this car, this windshield, it's just right out there. You know, this is one of those cars that was designed to be aerodynamic, and it does get pretty good mileage, especially for the, you know, for what it is. But it hit every rock that comes this way, bangs against this windshield hard. This is a pretty new windshield I've already got, more than I can count. I replaced this last fall, and then I kind of didn't do much driving over the winter. Anyway, what was I griping about? Oh yeah, about YouTube censorship. They've done it to me before. I understand how it works. And I am certainly the guy. If there was ever a poster child for those people to censor, it would be me. I'm a white guy. I'm a boomer. Well, just barely a boomer. And I am a conservative. So, you know, therefore to them, I'm a white supremacist, racist, whatever, you know. It's their bullshit. It's the bullshit that they do. Like I said, I understand it. I've kept my channel going, watching it. They've really pushed it down hard in the last few months. They've really shoved it down pretty hard. But that's because there's an election coming. That's all it is, you know. Well, it's that because I'm not spouting off the proper political point of view. If I were, believe me, I would have lots of subscribers and I'd be swimming in money. Like Scrooge McDuck, I guess. But that's not how they treat conservatives. Yeah. But then again, you probably already know this. The people that watch my channel, you probably already know this. But occasionally, and it's very rare, and it shows how hard they've pushed my channel down. It's very rare that somebody will show up that isn't a conservative. And typically when they show up, they watch a few minutes and then they put a nasty comment on my channel and I fire it right back to them, and I don't give a, you know, I don't care. We got some rain up here, y'all. Yeah, this fog is patchy. I've been above it and below it, and like right now in the middle of it. So, but I think we'll get out of it at some point. And I think we'll be okay going over the top of Grand Mesa this morning. I may go around Grand Junction coming home though, because I think the weather's supposed to move in about 3 or 4 hours. It's supposed to start snowing up on top. Now it was snowing this morning. I did see a camera. One little shot of it up on top here, and yeah, it's pretty quite winter-like. This is a neat little canyon too. There's some really cool rock formations in here. We're probably gonna miss them today, but maybe they'll come out and come out of the fog and look even more eerie and cool. They're very neat looking. Anyway, yeah, like I said, YouTube, they've they've shut my channel down to a trickle. You know, if you have found my channel, like I said, I'm pretty sure you're conservative, or you're an avid, you know, you like seeing travel type channels, and you either like my politics or you put up with them, or you get mad at me and send me a mean comment and leave. But like I said, there's very few of those, and I think that is proof that this channel is really squashed down pretty hard, because I would expect to get a lot more of them if it was just open to the general public. You know, if people could pick on this fairly, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Yeah, this is kind of neat. I did put that back on. So what else is going on? I'll get all the political stuff out of the way that I'm thinking of. Oh yeah, it was Biden's, what was it, transgender day of visibility or something? That was what the White House decided to call Easter. They never said Easter. And I already know those people are entirely anti-God, and they're hateful towards people that believe in God. But when they do something like that, it's like, it's a bit childish, quite honestly. Yeah, check this out. See, we're getting up into the, it doesn't look so bad now, right? It actually looks a little bit more like the spring day. I guess it's spring. I mean, spring is, this time of year, for people that live in the high country of Colorado, spring is a nice word, but it typically doesn't mean a whole lot, because we get quite a bit of snow. But anyway, there was no talk of Easter or anything. And of course, government likes to say, oh, we can't talk about politics. We absolutely can't. And then, or they can't say, let me start over again. The government likes to say, we can't talk about religion. Yet, what they're pushing is religion. But they claim it isn't. They claim it's whatever, what their ESG or their DEI, whatever. Yeah, diversity, equity, and inclusion. By the way, that ship that hit the bridge last week, that crew is a DEI crew, by the way. Now, I guess that's becoming a popular thing to say, and people are getting angry. And I think it was a mayor of, was it Baltimore? Pittsburgh? He was mad about that. He said, if you call me the DEI hire, you're basically calling me the N-word. And I thought, that's kind of funny. You're trying to conflate stupid political views with a racial slur. And the thing is that DEI hires anybody but white people. So if we're talking about racism, which is what this guy is a black mayor or a black, I think a black, somebody up in the hierarchy of the government. He just doesn't want you to say DEI hire because you're calling him the N-word. Well, no, actually, DEI is all about racism, as ESG is all about everything is about racism. It's the leftists' big hammer that they always use. They have other things that they use, but they love racism. I mean, they love that. And I'd like to point out too that the transgender, I've thought about that a lot and wondered, what the hell are they doing with this transgender stuff? What is their deal with it? I think I know what it is. I think it's finally a way for them to combat do unto others, what the proverb or the saying or whatever, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's sort of the Christian message. And really, that's the message for most of the people in the world. But it's not the message for leftists, and they hate that. And they have had a hard time countering that until now. Think about it. Because now, if you're on the left, you don't have to do unto others as you would have them do unto you, because you don't know what well, here's the thing. In their warped worldview, you don't know what gender they are. And if you call someone and say, hey, excuse me, sir, something like this, and they're on the left, they'll say, you assumed my gender, and they'll be all butthurt about it. But that's the point of this gender bullshit, I think, or it's at least a point of it. It's to combat the idea that you can understand what other people find as good or bad. They're trying to destroy that idea and that premise. I mean, I think it's quite satanic, quite honestly. But it's kind of clever, because if you misgender, right, and they're making a big push to make that an illegal thing, a law. It's ridiculous, but they did make it a law in, was it Brazil? Yeah. And Tim Pool and Elon Musk. Well, Tim Pool was shut some advertising down because of that on X. Because, Elon Musk said, we're not going to have this shit. And apparently what happened was it was against the law in Brazil. And so Tim Pool heard about it, but I don't think they actually enacted this policy. It's a ridiculous policy, but of course it is. So anyway, oh, that's good to see. I had someone come up behind me pretty fast. 41 Cedar Ridge. Okay. And that's going to be about like 15 miles of snowy weather and about 30-ish miles of dry road, I think. Maybe I should say snowy roads. Anyway, so that's clever of the leftists to do that, but it's also short-sighted and it's not going to last. But I think that was one of the things that they were shooting for. And if you don't know this, we're looking up into the Powderhorn ski area right now. That bowl that we're looking at, sort of over to the right just a little bit, but you can see all the runs up in there. I don't know if they're still open. It looks to me like they could be, but the snow gets kind of squishy this time of year. So. Oh, this is beautiful. Coming out of Rifle, I did video a little bit of it, but it was real rainy, snowy, and soggy, wet, and the interstate was a real pain in the ass. I don't like seeing that. We are in Mesa though, so if I get turned around, road work. Okay, I don't mind the road work. So we're passing through Mesa, Colorado. Mile marker 34.5. What is that? Expect delays. Look ahead. Mile marker 34.5. There must be a landslide or something that they're fixing up here. I was hoping that I would get around the roadwork, but this morning coming from Craig, there were roadwork signs in the canyon south of Craig, heading to DeBeque on Highway 13. They're getting ready to do 15 miles of roadwork there, so that's probably going to be, if they do what I think they might do, it's probably going to be an all summer hassle. On the other hand, that road would benefit mightily from getting wider shoulders. And if they did deer fencing, it would be good for the deer and for the people. I mean, it's bad to hit the deer and the elk. We got a mile marker up here, it looks like. $34.5. We're mile marker 48. And the mile markers are on that side of the road, which means they're increasing. If they were, well, they would actually not. 7, they're decreasing. I think I'll have to look and I'll have to make sure about that. I think that the mile markers, if they're on the side of the road that you're on, you're traveling in that direction, that they're increasing. But if they're on the other side of the road, they're decreasing. So 48 would say 38, 34, so about 15. So up on top somewhere they're probably doing snow removal up there. That sounds like about the right area if I'm right about the way the mile markers work. So we were down at about 5,000 feet in the valley. We're probably up to around 8,000 maybe right now, maybe 7,000. But we're going to be up over 11,000 and maybe up into 12,000. I really do need to check that. But we're going to go up roughly a mile. And likely a little bit more, mile and a quarter. Yeah, these mile markers are on the other side of the road, so they're decreasing in our direction. The direction we're going. So 12 miles ahead is where the road work is. We're probably up about 8,000 or 9,000 feet now. I mean, we're into the aspen trees. Typically, about 9,000 feet is a pretty typical number for where the aspens, where you find the aspen groves up here. And we are planning on going over the top of this thing, but we wind around it. I think Yeah. I feel privileged. Yeah, I know I've dropped all my other subjects. I feel privileged to be out here today on this road, to be doing the work that I'm doing. My company hasn't completely failed, and that's a beautiful view. I'm looking over to my left at the Rhone Plateau, and it's covered in snow, and there's clouds. It's just really beautiful. You'll probably get a glimpse of that. The road might twist and turn enough. If not, when we go to the turnout, if it's not full of snow, I'll try to do a 360 up there so you can see what it looks like this time of year. I actually think the turnout is that I typically stop at. I think I can see it up over almost 90 degrees. Almost perpendicular from the direction of travel we're going right now. That looks like a road cut, kind of, or an edge. See how we're doing. That isn't too bad. So my sister, woman at the wheel, she has retired again from driving her truck. She actually sold her Dodge. She kept the Ford, and she's doing an eBay thing. But she's also posting videos once in a while. So that's kind of interesting. And I have got another sister who has been posting videos for a while, and I've been watching her, and I can't remember her website. I'll have to look and see what that is. Or if you're interested, if there's anybody out there listening and you're interested, send me a comment and I'll get a link to her channel. She is an artist. Grand Mesa closed? What do they mean by Grand Mesa closed? I might be coming back down the hill and having a really, really long day here. It shouldn't be closed up here. Well, if it is, I'll have a long day. I mean, it's what it's going to be. Anyway, my sister, if they've closed this, I don't understand. The webcam's working. They're calling the road conditions out. Well, if it is, I guess we'll I'll probably add an hour to my day, maybe an hour and a half to my day. Not a horrible thing. But anyway, now I'm concerned about that. But let me get back to my other sister. She's rebuilding an accordion and learning how to play an accordion. And she's posting that online, her practice. Now, I don't watch all of her practice because so I don't watch that. Oh, I hope if they closed, they got a gate in front of the road. That way I don't have to go all the way up here. Yeah, it'll make for a really, really long day. Closed. I'm so far up here, it would be silly for me not to investigate it completely. Because if they're going to close it, they're going to close it pretty shortly. But I didn't think they closed this road. Anyway, like I said, I'm kind of concerned about that. If you're interested in looking at that, let me know and I'll patch you in a link and you'll check her out. Same with my sister, either one of my sisters. You probably already have seen some of Sue's videos. She is still taking them. She's just not taking them as a commercial driver. She's now just doing fun stuff. She's driving around and talking. That's kind of cool, So you might be getting a couple views of the Rome Plateau over to our left, maybe not. Grand Mesa closed. It didn't say the road was closed. It said the Mesa was closed. I don't understand that unless they're talking about the Forest Service roads, which I would expect would be closed here. But you can see that they plowed the roads. Look at the edges, and they've sanded the roads. I think the road is open. So I think they're talking about maybe is it similar? Maybe the road is closed. I don't know. I have been turned around before. I got turned around going south out of Rand, going up Willow Creek Pass, going to Granby. I had to turn around and it added 100 miles to my trip. Just that quick. This could be the same thing. So. Yes, we'll find out. All right. Yes. And I could always just say to hell with it and come back tomorrow and finish this if I needed to. So it's not that big of a deal if I can't make it through. And I've started early enough too. It's 9 in the morning, and I'm 3/4 of the way there. But I could get turned around. If I'm turned around here, I'll end up having to do, probably about 80 extra miles on my day, and that would put it into about almost a 500-mile day. And I have had some of those. Occasionally that happens. I think that, the overlook is right here, and it is not plowed. Oh, it might be plowed. If it's plowed, I will make a little circle and attempt to show you what's going on. Also put this thing in 4-wheel drive. Yeah. Okay. There we go. We're looking west right now. Well, we're looking a little bit to the north. We're looking at the Book Cliffs on the horizon, but there's a rolling plateau behind those trees. Very pretty. And that's roughly north. So, yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, I really don't think this road is closed. I have looked at this road all winter long. I've never seen it closed on Google Maps will usually show a closed road. CDOT, I'm not so sure about. We'll see. The only other road in Colorado that I know of that looks like this right now, in my neck of the woods, is Rabbit Ears is probably going to look like this, but it might be less snowy. I don't think it got as much snow as this one. This got snow last night, but it's been plowed very recently. So, and I'll go until I can, right? That's how it works. Yeah, it's snow removal. I think that's what they're doing. They're removing snow. We're about 26 miles up the road. If I can make it through, I've only got 20 miles to go to get to Paonia. And by the way, I am in four-wheel drive. It's actually working. It's not perfect. When I get up almost at around 70 miles an hour, it has a vibration in it. So it's not back 100%, but it's certainly good enough for this, this kind of driving. So yeah, three of us kids of our family have got YouTube channels. None of us have very many views. I think my Old Town channel is probably the biggest channel of all of them, and I got like 5,010 subscribers. But they shut that channel down pretty hard in 2019, and I've talked about it before. Just one day, they shut it down. It was no longer. I was getting 10,000 views and making good money, 10,000 views a day, and making good money for a small channel like that. Because 10,000 views a day is not a huge amount, but now I'm getting about 2 or 3 views a day. It's really ridiculous. They've got me so throttled that, look at that, road closed. All right. I guess I could talk to this guy and see what we got going on here. Maybe turning around. I got a feeling I'll be turning around. Closed. Yeah. Let's stop and get out and talk to this guy. Morning. Well, I'm trying to get you in. They are, bad luck for me, they are shooting the avalanche areas today. And I guess just before I pulled up here, the guy was telling me they just did a few shots, 6 or 7 shots. There's some pretty steep spots up here. I understand why they're doing it. But I had no knowledge of it. The road is open, but it's not open right now. I can't get on it right now because when they shoot these spots, they're covering the road with snow. So my day just got a lot longer. Oh well. And I'm smelling my power steering. When I stop and let this thing idle, my power steering will drip a little bit. But weirdly enough, in 120 miles, it didn't lose hardly any power steering fluid. Well, if I stop, I lose it. I don't get it. And I don't know enough about the power steering to be able to make a diagnosis. So I'll figure it out. Another thing that I would like to do is I would like to pull the drive shaft out that I put in a couple weeks ago. Pull it out sometime when I'm driving my Jeep. Take it to if I can find a drive shaft, someone that would balance it for me. I think that if I get it balanced, I'm in good shape. I think that'll bring me back 100% of DeBeque Canyon. So we'll have a few minutes in the canyon, and yeah, we'll be in Grand Junction. But I'll probably stop this. Well, I don't know. I mean, the canyon's pretty neat. Well, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. So if you followed my channel, or if you've seen my other channel, you know that I'm working on a steam engine and a generator. And I predicted a long time ago that the toughest situation, or the toughest thing it was going to be for me to build, will be the valves. And I'm right about that. Getting the valves working properly has been a chore. I'm not saying that in a bad way. I don't mind that. I mean, but there's quite a bit of work to make them work. You know, they've got to be precision. And I don't really have what you would call a precision metal shop, so I have to slow down and work carefully to try to make these parts that I need. But I think I'm in pretty good shape now. I've tried, this is like my third different attempt at making valves that I think will work good for this engine, and I'm liking the way it looks. I built a really, for reasons that I think are important. I started out with rotary valves, and I didn't like them, although they weren't that bad. You know, retrospect, you know, they weren't that bad. I might actually circle back to them at some point. Then I tried some poppet valves. We like a typical valve you'd find in a car, right? You know, and the head of an engine. And I really liked the way they worked, but I was having issues with the balance of them, you know. And I could get the steam engine to run really good on air, but it's not really meant to run on air. It's meant to run on steam, and steam expands considerably more than compressed air does. And so I think that my first attempt with the poppet valves, I had an okay sized intake valve because I'm letting in compressed steam, right? But when it expands, it's still expanding even as it's leaving the cylinder. And that's just because that's not an unusual thing, but the way that I had it set up, I was basically, I believe, choking the engine down with a small exhaust valve. Like, it couldn't clear the steam fast enough, and so it was building the back pressure and not operating like it ought to. But, you know, running on air and running on steam, I mean, it's two different things. There's a lot more energy in steam. Steam it's amazing how much more power there is in it. But, I mean, you're heating it up. You're putting heat energy into it, which is being transformed into mechanical energy. Compressed air has got the energy of being compressed, but it doesn't have the thermal energy that goes along with that. And that's a pretty big difference, because there's a lot of energy in a pound of steam, you know, as opposed to a pound of compressed air. The same PSI, say 100 PSI. So they do operate quite differently. So I've understood that theoretically, but practically I didn't really know how that would work out. And I did know that I was going to have to experiment, play around with this. And so I've come to the conclusion that I just needed a bigger exhaust valve, so that way I can allow the steam to escape much more efficiently. I mean, this valve is probably four or five times the size of the first valve, and 4 or 5 times the size of the intake valve. It's basically almost as big as the cylinder. It's really a big valve. And the way that I'm setting it up, I'm setting it up so that I can adjust the duration of it being open more precisely. I think. I believe that's where it's going. So I'm working my way through that, and I think when I'm done with this, I'll have a much better little steam engine, and I'll do a video about it if you're interested. If not, I mean, you know, if you're not, that's okay. But I really would like to get this project moving. At the same time, I know that if I start scrimping, or, you know, if I start cutting corners, it's going to come back to get me. So I'm going to have to do everything right, as perfect as I can get it, before I move on to the next thing. So that's what I'm attempting to do. All right, we're getting ready to hit I-70. Okay, lights are off. We'll leave them on. I do not know what this little creek is called, but it's done a hell of a job cutting this canyon. It's been after it for a while. We've been at it for a while. Right. You know, I'll go ahead and run this video through the canyon. The canyon's pretty nice. It's enjoyable. I like it. Yeah, I turned it on for 74. Here we are, DeBeque Canyon. What's it looking like? Not real crowded today. Slow down some. I assume the speed was slower than the background was going, but yeah, there we go. This is really where I want to be. So it'll be 11 miles. Okay, I'm gonna go. So we're getting the very lower end of DeBeque Canyon, which is pretty nice. Up here where this gas station is over on the left, that used to be the site of a Gay Johnson's restaurant. Now, at one time, Gay Johnson's was a very innocent name, but gay has been taken over by, homosexuals, and Johnson is slang for schwang, right? So that is funny how things happen, right? How that name of that restaurant became it just took on a different meaning than it did way back when. There's a good chance, I think, that people use that word gay for a name at one point in time. I could be wrong about that. I have a vague recollection of thinking that I've heard someone who was named gay. An old timer, not somebody in the new era where that meaning has been changed. And I don't know why this is the way it is. This little ledge over here on the left, that is a pile of coal covered up with dirt. Or that is where a coal pile was, and the coal pile was removed and the dirt was put in there. I think that there's coal underneath that. Now, it may have been junk coal. I don't know, but I do remember when they were doing that. Okay. I think I could have gone off there and got into Palisade, but I think I would have had to do some back road driving to get where I need to get. All right, here we are getting into Grand Junction, looking out at the Redlands. It's like a beautiful day so far today to this point. Very nice. Well, the snow is going to be up in the mountains, double-digit amounts apparently for the day. So anyway, that's apparently what we've got going on. And I'm gonna stop this video here, but continue on. So I think that makes a nice video. We got the mountain and canyon covered. Anyway, if you're driving somewhere, drive carefully. I'm gonna try to do the same. And if I think I need to film, I'll film something, looks interesting. Y'all take care. Bye.